Hi everyone, I'm Natalie Wan, a 28-year-old marketing executive at Thompson & Partners. Today, I want to share how my brother's wedding turned into a nightmare and uncovered years of toxic behavior within our family. Life hasn't been easy for us. When our mom passed away from cancer, I was 16 and my brother Lucas was 20. Dad worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat, so I stepped up to help raise Lucas. We became incredibly close during those years. Natally, I got accepted to Stanford. I still remember the excitement in Lucas's voice that day. Even now, I can feel the pride and determination I felt as I made the decision to use my college fund to pay for his education. No regrets. It was worth every penny to see him graduate. For a while, everything seemed perfect. Then Caroline Brooks walked into our lives. Lucas met her at a charity event, and I still remember our first dinner together at LeBlanc. "So, Natalie, Lucas tells me you're in marketing." How quaint, Caroline had said with a condescending smile. I suppose not everyone is cut out for the pressures of real estate. It was the first red flag, but I ignored it for Lucas's sake. Soon the subtle digs became constant. "Darling, you simply must update your wardrobe. Those outlet store pieces aren't doing you any favors." Even my best friend Rachel noticed. "Girl, did you hear the way she talked to you at the engagement party? Like being single is some kind of disease." And David, my colleague, raised an eyebrow after meeting Caroline at the office holiday party. "Your future sister-in-law asked if I was your supervisor. When I said no, she literally rolled her eyes and said, 'Figures.'" But none of that compared to meeting her mother, Martha Brooks. Picture the stereotype of a wealthy snob, then multiply it by 10. "Lucas, dear, Martha cooed at a family dinner. Are you sure you want to live so close to that neighborhood? We could help you find something more suitable in our area." Wedding planning was an absolute nightmare. Whenever I tried to help, Caroline brushed me off. "Oh, don't worry your pretty little head, Natalie. Events like this require a certain expertise." Then, at the engagement party, her brother James pulled me aside while the guests cheered a champagne toast. "I'm sorry about how they're treating you," he said, his voice low and apologetic. "They do this to everyone they think is beneath them." "Thanks, but I can handle it," I replied, though my confidence was starting to crack. "You should know what you're dealing with," he insisted. "They ruined my best friend's career just because he dated my cousin and wasn't our kind. The worst part, Lucas didn't or wouldn't see it. 'Natalie, you're just not used to their way of doing things,' he'd say. Caroline comes from a different world. Give her time. If only I'd known what was coming." The week before the wedding was brutal. Caroline found excuses to exclude me from every bridesmaid meeting, rescheduling without notice. Finally, during the rehearsal dinner, she delivered the ultimate blow. "Oh, Natalie, didn't Lucas tell you? We had to make some last-minute changes to the wedding party. Too many bridesmaids would look cluttered in the photos." I turned to Lucas, hoping he'd defend me, but he looked away. "Caroline," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "I'm his only sister." "Darling, we've discussed this. My sorority sisters already coordinated their schedules. It's simply too late to change anything now." The wedding day came, and I plastered on my best fake smile. I helped Lucas with his tie, just like I had for his graduation. "You look beautiful, Natalie," he said quietly. "I'm sorry about the bridesmaid thing." "Hey," I replied, forcing a smile. "It's your day. Let's make it special." The ceremony went off without a hitch, but the reception brought the final blow. During the toasts, Caroline stood up, champagne glass in hand, her designer dress probably worth more than my rent. "I want to thank everyone for coming today," she began, her voice dripping with sweetness. "And a special thanks to Lucas's sister, Natalie, who's basically been the family servant all these years." Nervous laughter rippled through the crowd. My stomach tightened as she continued. "I mean, who gives up their own future to serve others? No wonder she's still single, too busy playing mommy to actually build a life." The room fell silent. Hundreds of eyes turned to me. My cheeks burned as I sat frozen, humiliated and furious. Before I could process the humiliation, Lucas grabbed the microphone, his voice steady but seething. "Actually, Caroline, let me tell everyone exactly what my sister did when our mom died." The room fell silent. "Natalie gave up her college fund, every penny she'd saved since she was 12, so I could go to Stanford. She worked 3 jobs while finishing high school to help Dad keep our house. She's not a servant. She's the reason I'm standing here today." Caroline's face turned white. Lucas, darling, I was just joking. Lucas didn't let her finish. While you were spending daddy's money at prep school, my sister was helping me with calculus homework at midnight after her shift at the diner. She's not single because she was playing mommy. She's single because she puts others before herself. Something you clearly know nothing about. Caroline stormed out of the room, her white dress trailing behind her, while gasps and murmurs spread through the crowd. Martha shot up, waving her hands frantically. Everyone please, my daughter is simply overwhelmed. Natalie, dear, you know how emotional brides can get. Though really, airing family finances at a wedding is rather uncouth. Her attempt to spin the situation fell flat. Guests began shaking their heads, whispering about the scene they'd just witnessed. Later, as the reception wound down, James approached me in a quiet corner. He pulled out his phone, his expression grim. Listen to this, he said, pressing play. Caroline's voice filled the air, venomous and smug. Once we're married, we'll gradually phase her out. She's so clingy with Lucas, it's pathetic. Mom's already found us a house in California. Martha's voice followed. Perfect, darling. We'll make sure Lucas sees how his sister is holding him back. A few well-placed comments about her dependency issues should do it. I felt sick to my stomach, but oddly relieved. Finally, their true colors were on full display. There's more, James said, his tone somber. A lot more. And I think it's time everyone knew the truth about my sister and mother. 2 days later, Lucas called me, his voice breaking. Caroline's giving me an ultimatum, he said. She wants me to cut you out of my life, or she's leaving. She claims you've always been jealous of her. I stayed calm, the recordings echoing in my mind. What do you want to do, Lucas? I don't know anymore. Everything's falling apart. She maxed out our joint credit card on a shopping spree after the reception. That's when James dropped the first bomb. He emailed me court documents. Caroline had been married before, to a wealthy man in Boston, and she never divorced him. Natalie, you won't believe what I found. My best friend Rachel burst into my office, waving a stack of printouts. Caroline pulled this exact same stunt with 3 other families. She finds successful men with close family ties, drives wedges between them, and bleeds them dry. Even David, my colleague, had been digging through social media. Look at this, he said, holding up his phone. These posts from 2019, she's wearing an engagement ring in Miami. But it's not from your brother or her first husband. There's a whole trail of destroyed relationships. As Caroline unraveled, she weaponized Instagram, posting cryptic captions like, "Some people pretend to be loving sisters while secretly sabotaging your marriage." Then came the ultimate downfall. Martha's carefully constructed empire began to crumble. The SEC launched an investigation into Brooks Realty for major fraud. James discovered they'd been running a Ponzi scheme through their luxury real estate developments. The feds are looking at everything, James told me over coffee. Mom's been cooking the books for years. Caroline knew, and she was using company money to fund her shopping addiction. Caroline's desperation peaked when she tried to gaslight Lucas about his own memories. Baby, remember how Natalie tried to talk you out of college? She wanted to keep you dependent on her. But her lies couldn't save her when her past caught up with her. Lucas received a LinkedIn message from Thomas Bennett, Caroline's ex-husband. Your sister called me. I should have warned you sooner, the message read. Caroline did the same thing to my family. First, she isolated me from my sister, claiming she was trying to control my life. Then she drained my accounts. She told everyone my sister was spreading lies about her. By the time Lucas realized everything Kate had said was true, it was too late. Caroline had already moved on to her next target. She hadn't even bothered to file their divorce papers. Lucas forwarded me the message from Thomas Bennett with a single line. I'm so sorry I didn't listen. I watched silently as Caroline's world crumbled around her. Her real estate license fell under review amidst the fraud investigation. Her once loyal social media followers turned against her as more victims stepped forward. But I didn't have to lift a finger. Karma was doing all the work. That night, Rachel came over with a bottle of wine. Girl, are you okay? Actually, yeah. For the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe. Sometimes the best revenge is letting toxic people destroy themselves. But the real satisfaction came later. The headline flashed across my phone. Brooks Realty CEO arrested in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. Martha's mugshot was everywhere. Gone were the designer suits and her trademark superior smirk, replaced by an orange jumpsuit and smeared mascara. The fallout was swift and merciless. Thomas Bennett went public with his story. She was already married when she married Lucas, he revealed. Can you believe it? Whispers in exclusive country clubs turned into roars. Caroline's carefully curated image shattered like cheap glass. Then Lucas called me, his voice trembling. Natally, she took out loans in my name. Credit cards, personal loans, everything. She forged my signature. I'm looking at almost $300,000 in debt. Caroline's final, desperate move was as predictable as it was pathetic. Natalie orchestrated this whole thing. She ranted to anyone who would listen. She planted evidence, manipulated James, turned my own brother against me. Lucas's lawyer called it a slam dunk annulment case. She was legally married to someone else, the judge ruled. This marriage was never valid. And just like that, it was over. Caroline's social media meltdown was legendary. A 30-minute, unhinged rant accusing me of everything from theft to corporate espionage. The real estate board wasn't amused. Her license was revoked. 5 years flew by. Life moved on. I'm now the marketing director at a Fortune 500 company. My team's latest campaign just won an industry award. Dating? Sure, when I want to. But I'm not chasing it. My life is already full. As for Lucas, he found himself again. He met Sarah, a kind, grounded kindergarten teacher at a volunteer event. No drama, no designer labels, just real love. Their backyard wedding last summer was everything a wedding should be: simple, joyful, and heartfelt. Looking back, I sometimes wonder, what would you have done in my position? When Caroline hit rock bottom and sent that desperate message asking for help, would you have given her a second chance? Would you have believed she changed? Or would you have stood firm, like I did, knowing that some bridges are better left burned? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever had toxic people come back into your life after karma finally caught up to them? Did you forgive them or stand your ground?